Good morning, ladies and gents, and welcome to Inkwenkwezi Private Game Reserve. My name is Willem, and I will be your guide for today. So guys, while we're on this trip, I ask that you please remain seated at all times, keep your hands and your legs inside the vehicle, and please make sure that you are comfortable since the roads are quite bumpy in some sections since we've had quite a bit of rain lately. Any questions, guys, you're more than welcome to ask, and we'll be sure to answer you in the comment section below. Okay, so if you guys look in front of us, you'll see toddler giraffe in the road and then the female on the left. Okay, now it's not necessarily that this female is the mother of one of these calves. Okay, what will happen is that at this age the calves will actually start walking around by themselves. Although the one on the right looks like he's not weaned yet, he's probably about 4 or 5 months old. So what will happen is the two on the left and the one furthest to the left, I'm not sure if you guys can see him in the bush. Now these three are weaned already, they'll start walking around by themselves. Since giraffe do not actually have a fixed social structure, these guys are not very phased as to how they move around. Little one got startled there for a second. So what I want to focus on today is what I find quite interesting, and that is that the coat pattern of each giraffe will actually be different, enabling us, if we do spend enough time with them, to actually identify them separately from one another. Now the scientific name of giraffe is actually Camelopardus, which means camel like leopard. So if you look at the head and you take the horns away, the little horns on top, they're called ossicones, just for future reference. I'm going to talk about these guys a bit later. So if you look at the head, you'll see the head looks very similar to that of a camel. And then of course the blotch markings on the giraffe, not 100% like a leopard, but close enough for someone to have given it that name. Now the ossicones, like I said previously, I'm going to talk about that in a second. So here it goes. There's a myth, guys. For those of you who do not know what a myth is, it is just a belief that's not completely accurate. But if you think about it, it might make sense, it might not make sense. So rumor has it that the little ones actually get those bumps on the head because in giraffe, one of few species where the mother does not accompany the child during birth, so they have to fall quite far. I mean, if you look at that female standing up, her backside's probably about 1.5 meters from the ground. So that poor little one has to fall 1.5 meters, guys. He falls right on his head. Of course, with giraffe, the head comes out first, and he smacks his head on the ground, always being punished with the 2 bumps on the head, so that the mother gets reminded to look after her young. Now guys, this is not true. I just want to put the facts right. The baby comes out slow enough, only falling about 1 inch. Okay, now this acts as a spank on a baby's buttocks when he leaves the doctor, or well, when he gets born. See, this is quite an old female, very dark in colour. Okay guys, so just to the left of us, you'll see that there's a small herd of Blue Wildebeest. Now, interestingly enough, in one of my first game drives a couple of years ago for Inkwenkwezi, I had a Xhosa lady in my vehicle. Now, it was very interesting for me because not only was this Xhosa lady interested in teaching me about their culture, but her children that was on the vehicle with me could translate all of this Xhosa culture for me. Now, the one thing that I instinctively remember is that the lady said, if you look at the head of the Blue Wildebeest, you'll see that it looks pretty much like a buffalo. And then the general body structure looks like that of a spotted hyena. And then the tail like that of a horse. Now, because of this, the Xhosa culture used to believe that the Blue Wildebeest has been punished as 3 animals in one body. Now, you can see this quite clearly, but to add to that belief is that traditionally the Xhosas did not hunt the Blue Wildebeest because they believed if they kill the Blue Wildebeest, they will inherit this punishment. Okay guys, so if you look to our right, you'll see a reasonable sized herd of buffalo. Now, of course, the buffalo being the 3rd biggest member of the Big 5 family, the Big 5 being classified as the 5 most dangerous animals to hunt in South Africa. Now, personally for me, buffalo are not so much my favorite. Very unpredictable, very dangerous, and much stronger than people give them credit for. I mean, if you look closely at the horns, even though the tips are so close together, a buffalo will not only be able to fling you up into the air, but also stab you with those horns, making it even extra dangerous. The thing is that most other animals, or all other animals, will normally give you some form of warning before they attack. But a buffalo, pretty much like a Brahman bull, will attack without warning. And this is what makes them so dangerous. So if you look straight ahead of us, you'll see that there's a waterbuck pool. Now, for those of you guys who've ever been on my game drive before, you'll recall this as the greedy llama. Now, of course I'll have to tell the tale, but it goes like this. Very long ago, my great uncle Noah, he built an ark. So he was told on this ark he must put 2 pairs of every animal, male and female. However, at the time there were no waterbuck, so he was told that he must put 4 llama on, 2 males and 2 females, of course. Now, Noah was, of course, quite dehydrated after building this big ark. I mean, you can just imagine how big it has to be to store those animals. So he had a jug of milk, put it right next to the entrance of the ark, and as the pairs started walking up, the last 2 were the 2 greedy llama. Now, what happened was, the first llama, he grabbed the jug and he downed this milk, giving it a wide ring around the lips. Then, of course, having drunk so much, he had to run to the loo. So they just run, they kick open the first door they see, and they went to sit right on the toilet seat. When they stood up and they walked out, they saw "Do Not Disturb" sign on the outside of the cubicle door. But unfortunately it was too late. That's why you'll see the waterbuck has this white ring around its buttocks. Okay, so this was the fresh paint. I mean, Noah opened the door just after he painted the toilet seats. That's why I put a "Do Not Disturb" sign up. Today the waterbuck is punished with a white ring around the buttocks and the white ring around the mouth, to remind it to think about those around there. Today, however, the waterbuck has adapted. They will use the white ring as a "follow me" sign amongst one another. This is very important in animals, since most animals only see black and white. Now, in the case of the waterbuck, the white ring floating in front of them, this will be very, very useful in order to know when to run, where to run, when you are in the herd. Okay, guys, so if you look to my left, you'll see that there's a tree full of this. Okay, so this is common star apple. Now, it's called common star apple because it's, of course, very common. And if you look here, you'll see a 5-point star. And of course, then this will be the apple. Now, at the moment, it's not ripe. It will be yellow when it's ripe. Now, it is edible with a very bitter flavor. However, that if you eat too much of it, you might have some diarrhea. But other than that, to keep you going out in the bush when you really don't have anything else, this might be something to do. Okay guys, so this is a mixed herd of Impala. Now what I want you to focus on for me now is the black pom-poms on the back legs. Okay, now these are called metatarsal glands. Okay, you don't have to repeat after me, it's quite a small word to repeat. So the function of these glands are to serve as a type of follow me signal for the Impala. Now, I don't know if you've realized, but most other animals in South Africa have some or other white feature on their buttocks, which will act as a follow me sign. However, the Impala do not have that. They have the 3 black stripes to help to keep them clean. I'll get into that now. For now, the metatarsal glands, guys, what will happen is when the Impala run, they'll kick their heels up, and this will basically kick out the scent or the pheromones from the metatarsal glands. And in doing that, they will enable the rest of the herd to follow that pheromone trail that they leave. And now with the 3 black stripes on the buttocks, of course, like you know, black eats up quite fast in the sun. So the ticks will actually accumulate on those black stripes. Now, that's not even the significant part. The significant part is that the teeth of an Impala, you can hear the Impala ram calling on the left there, calling all his females together. So the rutting season is about to start. It starts in about 15-16 days. Now, the rutting season is the breeding season for antelope species in South Africa. Normally starts in May, June, July. Around the end, middle of July, the rutting season will come to an end. Now, just to get back to the markings, the 3 black stripes, the teeth of the Impala is loose, okay, meaning that they can actually comb the ectoparasites, the ticks, off of those 3 black stripes, keeping them very, very clean. There's the ram you can see now on the left, keeping his eye on these ladies. Hey guys, so we just came across some zebra. Now, there's quite an interesting thing that I did some research on the other day, and that is that in the 1800s there was actually a short time of experiments with regards to zebra in the northern parts of Africa. Now, I'm not sure if you've heard about the tsetse fly yet, but the tsetse fly is a carrier of sleeping sickness. Now, sleeping sickness, as the name states, is a sickness of sleep. It eventually causes death. Now, back in the day, when cattle and horses were used for transport, they travelled through the northern parts of Africa just to realize that the only method of transport is busy dying because of the tsetse fly. So what they then did is they started trying to cart everything by themselves just to realize that the zebras in the area are unaffected by the tsetse fly. So they started wondering as to what is causing the zebra to actually survive. They then later took 3 sculptures made from wood, one brown, one black, to resemble the horses and the ox that they used. And then the other one was painted like the zebra, black and white. They painted all 3 the sculptures full of glue and came back about 3 hours later. So when they came back, they realized that the black horse, or the ox rather, has many parasites. So they went to the brown one, resembling the horse. Had a little bit less, but still plenty parasites. This includes ticks, flies, horse flies, etc. They then went to the zebra, and they found less than a third of parasites as was on the brown horse. So then they realized that the reason why is because of the stripes of the zebra. The insects are confused and they do not know where to land. And this is the reason as to why the zebra, was not affected by the tsetse fly. So they then tried taming zebra, just to realize at the later stage that all the hard work and effort that they put into this was completely fruitless. The reason for this is that the zebra is not as strong as an ox, nor does it have the endurance as a horse. But it is apparently even up to 5 times more difficult to tame a zebra in order to work with it than it would be to tame a stallion, a wild stallion. Okay guys, that's it from me for now. I'm off to have a cup of joy. Stay tuned.